everyone. I'm Deborah Gardner. We are so happy that you are here with us today on the #1 hospitality show. And not only are we a #1, we just found out that we are actually one of the top 15% in the podcast world. How cool is that? Anyway, we're just so happy that you're here with us because we have such amazing guests, as you know, every week that really provide real life topics through their own perspective, opinion, stories, and lessons. And that promise continues even today because I want to introduce to you the owner of ATI Promotions, Heather Rykowski. She has actually been in the gift and promotional products industry for 30 years. That's a long time. She knows a lot, that's for sure. And how do I know that? Well, she's a certified gift specialist and certified advertising specialist as well, with tons and tons of awards. But ultimately, here's the great thing about Heather. She is actually wanting to help people understand how promotional products can enhance your meeting and event for the hospitality industry. And so today, she's going to share with us how promotional items are used, especially how relevant they need to be today, how you can best utilize companies like hers, trends, and so much more. So stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. This episode is brought to you by Pickles, fun, interactive drawing tool designed for group collaboration, icebreakers, team building at pickles.com. Well, we want to say hello, Heather. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We are thrilled because we haven't had anyone on the show and we've been on the air for about 6-7 months now. And we've had never anyone that is an expert in the promotional item area. But yet, before we get started, I wanted to ask you, because I noticed you have a tagline that I see on your signature of your email, your promotional items as well. And it says, products to build your brand, always in touch. What a great tagline. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, products to build your brand. It helped identify what AIT Promotions was, because we help companies get their name out there. We want them to be in the front of their clients. We want them to be remembered. And that's where Always in Touch also comes in. Always in Touch is something that companies, individuals, they want to continue to do. And so products to build your brand, you're going to be always in touch. And we hope that it helps their business build.
Well, I love that because that's one of the reasons why I've always been in touch with you, because I know you and I have worked in the past with my clientele and talking about great service on top of it, communication, you're always in touch. And that is key. And people really need to know that that's really important. And speaking of being in touch, we're going to have some questions and comments from your fans as well. As a matter of fact, we've already got somebody popping in to say hello. Natalie Johnson. Yeah. So there you go. You've already got some fans watching you today. So anybody else out there, by all means, this is the time to ask Heather some questions and really find out what is going on with the promotional item industry today. So let's ask you some questions pertaining to this. First of all, how have business practices changed and how does promotional items, how are they used today with those new practices?
One of the things that people need to realize is that promotional products become that tangible means for staying in touch. it gets something into somebody's hands. And whether it's that fabulous pen that everybody seems to have, or it's the t-shirt, or it's the coffee cup, whatever it is, it gets into somebody's hand. Therefore, it's something that they're going to use. And one of the things that we're definitely finding today is people really are looking at items that are going to be used. Not just years ago, they were called tchotchkes. I hate that phrase. We want it to be something that's going to be memorable. We want it to be something that people really are going to use, that they're going to care about, that they're going to have, whether it's on their desk, whether it's in their kitchen, wherever it happens to be, whatever is being sent. And one of the things that I think for a lot of my clients, somebody who might be in the tech world, immediately people think in terms of chargers and USB drives and so forth. But I have a client that actually his passion is cooking. And so I have suggested to him, rather than just the normal tech item, why don't we send something like special spices to his clients, and he can help them spice up their life. And that's something that he definitely looked at, and it was like, okay. And I said, that makes you memorable. That means people are going to know who you are. It's not another USB, but it's something that they're going to use, and they are going to remember him. And when they need his services, that's who they're going to go to.
Oh, that's a great, great thought. I always thought, it was something cute and fuzzy sitting on your desk. But what you're telling us is, as long as they utilize it, and like you said, maybe spices is, he's a cook. So why wouldn't you want to send some spices? So beautiful. Okay. That's a great idea. I did not think about that. And that's very relevant and very much so for today on what people need to think about, whether you're a meeting professional, event professional, or a speaker like myself.
Right. And I think one of the things is, again, people get, you sometimes get a little pigeonholed into what else can I do? What else can I send? How does it pertain to me as a speaker or, as an event planner? Well, yeah, there are things that we could do that way, but in the same sense, I would almost, for Deborah Gardner, it wouldn't necessarily be something to do with speaking. It might be something to do with the fact that you have an amazing pet, that you have a dog. How about sending out pet bandanas to all the people that you know that have pets and have your tagline on there? So again, it's something that makes them think of you.
Oh, great idea.
Becomes very personal that way.
It does. Yeah. And that's the key. I think personal, not professional, because you already had the job from them. You already had the business from them. You've already won them over. Now take it to another step and show the personal side of it. Okay.
One of the things that we try and say with promotional products or with the gift industry is building a relationship. And so many times people say, oh yeah, with networking and so forth. No, it's with business also. You want to build a relationship with your clients, with your potential clients. You want something that is going to be memorable. I also use within my website, and it's one of the things that I've used for a long time. It's a quote by Maya Angelou, and it's, people will forget what you said. They may forget what you did, but they're never going to forget how you made them feel.
Right.
And having that as a connection. So yeah, it's that fantastic water bottle. It's something that they're going to carry around with them. That's great. They're going to use it. It may not pertain to my business in the sense of, whatever, but having something that is going to be memorable and that they're going to go ahead and utilize. So
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Well, we've got some questions actually from your fans coming in already. So let's get to some of those as well. Lynn Wellish, we love Lynn Wellish. She's such a big fan of the show as well.
Yes.
Lynn actually asks, share your thoughts about industry associations. Do you receive a return on your investment? How do you gauge?
Industry. Oh, how do I gauge?
Good question.
It is a great question. Certainly industry associations, it's something that I have been a member of. Certainly MPI, it's about 18 years now. And have I gotten a return on my investment? Absolutely. Sometimes though, that return is not just, oh, people who are, you need my services. But sometimes it's also, for me, a question of getting me out there. And perhaps it's a leadership type situation. Perhaps it's training in that way. So sometimes the return on investment is not just for my business, but it might be for my personal growth as well. So I kind of gauge it that way too. But I am a big fan of being a part of a variety of different types of associations. How can I help them? But in the same sense, how can they help me? And again, it may not just be, are they going to use my products, but how can I get some additional benefit from it? What am I going to get? And sometimes that is my personal growth. So
that's a good question. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. That's why we are in the hospitality industry. We want that personal growth. We want that networking. And whether it's for, to sell your promotional items or not, it's all going to come back around anyway, because like you said earlier, mentioning about building relationships, and that's what it's all about. And we both have a great relationship with Lynn too. So
yes.
So that helps. Well, that was a good question. And then, so as far as your promotional items, we all know right now there's the virtual world that is going on, and the in-person is coming back slowly. And then we've got the hybrid world going on. So there's really 3 different worlds going on in our industry. How does the promotional items fit within those 3 areas? And are there, I've always wanted to know, are there certain different swag bags that, well, speaking of swag bags, I just have to show this photo because I do want to talk about swag bags for all 3. I caught this photo of Stan and the 2 pups, and I love the wag the swag idea. That is adorable. So those are your loves of your life, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
they're my mascots.
They are. They really are. So I just think that is, swag bags is what is really important. And with those 3 worlds that we have to play with, I mean, how do promotional items, are they all the same? Tell us a bit about this.
How many times have we all gone to a conference? What are we going to be receiving? We're probably going to get some kind of a bag. We may get some lip balm. There's a variety of different things that could be in that bag. Hopefully, there are going to be some things that we can actually use during the conference. And having the bag available, especially when it's a really good reusable tote bag, is kind of nice because you can carry all of your things. For women, we can put our purse into it as well. And that's one less thing to actually carry around. But what we have certainly found right now with the virtual world, and I'm going to talk about that sort of first, is the fact that I have clients that are looking at sending boxes because they're having a conference. It's virtual, but they still want people to have the experience. There is one that is that we're helping put things together for. It's going to be happening in another couple of weeks. But the original conference was going to be in DC. And so they wanted things that would kind of help people feel like they might be there. So we went ahead and we sourced cherry blossom tea and perhaps the special mug that also has cherry blossoms. Of course, DC is known for their cherry blossom festival. What about something that might have a map of DC on it, something that they can use? So again, having something sent to the recipients in time for the conference that they can utilize during the conference, but still get the experience as though they were on this trip. And that's something that I'm certainly finding with more and more people. Even though we are hoping and we are slowly getting back to the real life, conference, I think a lot of people, and I've heard from several of the companies that I work with, they're still going to be doing perhaps hybrid. There's going to be those people who are not going to be there. There is an organization, and when we talk also about being able to go ahead and see people live, there's an organization that normally would have 1,200 people. They know that that's not going to be possible again this year. They're going to do a hybrid. They might have 200 people at the conference the end of August, but the rest are going to be home. They're going to be watching. And so they're talking about what can they go ahead and send that is still going to give the people who are home the feeling that they're there. So whether it's a bag that has a beautiful padfolio in it, with a pen, everything like that. Perhaps it is some special item. Perhaps it's going to be a snack mix that they can go ahead and have during the snack time. Perhaps it's going to be something for the happy hour. And that's something that I'm getting requests for as well. Can we do the stemless wine glasses? Yes, not a problem. We can even have personal names put on them. You have 400 people you want to have a name put on? We have a company that can do that without any problem. So having that personal touch as well. And just think, Deborah, if you were to go ahead and receive a stemless wine glass that had your name on it, would it be something that you would continue to use?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I have one. And I still remember it's from the San Diego MPI chapter. I was presenting that. And I still have that glass today. I mean, literally, it was stitched in the glass. I'm like, how cool is that?
Yes. And that's the type of thing. It's, exactly who gave it to you, when it happened, because it brings back memories. And that's what we talk about, building relationships. So even though here are these people who are going to be attending the conference virtual, they're still going to have that relationship with the people who are putting on the conference.
Right. Very good point. Good point. So are the items different for virtual and in person, or are they the same? Are you getting a lot of people that are sending to their homes?
They're sending them to their homes.
And you organize that?
Yes.
With them.
We can.
That's a lot of shipping. That's a lot of shipping right there.
We definitely, in fact, we work with several different partners that can do that. Okay. There is an organization actually here in town that can also help with the packing and labeling, and then it gets shipped out. We coordinate it. We can go ahead and, weigh that package. We know what it's going to weigh. We know what the shipping is going to be for, whatever. But then I work with other partners as well, suppliers that can do it in their sense as well. And I just have to tell them, okay, we're going to have these items. This is what's going to be put together. I need these shirts printed, and I need this tumbler printed, and I need something else. And they'll go ahead and put it all together, and then they drop ship it wherever it needs to be. So there are more and more companies that are doing that. And I think that's one of the things that I did find this past year. More and more of my suppliers were also looking at that, and we're going that route. Before, there may have been a half dozen, and now I'm going to say there's double, triple that amount who are going ahead and having that type of service as well. So yeah, more of us are looking at what's needed. What can we go ahead and send out that's going to help with that relationship? As far as it being different, if I am going to be in person, And I will say for an MPI event, you know, people might be looking at, okay, do we still need to wear the mask? Do we not? Some situations, yeah, it's going to still be required, depending on where you are and what's happening. So people are looking at, okay, what are we going to put into that special bag? Is it going to be a pad for them to use? Is it going to be that wonderful pen? Is it going to be hand sanitizer? Is there going to be a mask in it? You
Right.
know, that kind of thing. So again, where in the past it might have just been the lip balm, which I still have people requesting, because if you're wearing a mask, your lips are getting dry. You know, that type of situation. But I think it becomes a slightly different packing when it's going to be strictly virtual, it's going to be a hybrid, or it's going to be strictly in person.
Right.
And the types of items that can be ordered are limitless. I have clients that are looking at, they do want the water bottle. People, wherever it happens
Amazing.
to be, whether they're going to be at home, whether they're going to be in person, they want that water bottle. And,
Well,
you know, that type of thing. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, Heather, how are people? Let's talk about budgets. We've all been hit, right? We've all been hit.
Mhm.
How do you deal with your customers or clients that don't have a budget today? What are the budgets looking like? And if it is tight, what are some of the creative ways that people can work around it to get the promotional items that they'd like to send over to their
Right.
attendees? Or
I have some clients that will say, okay, we have a budget of $10.
right,
We can still do a variety of different things for that $10. Now, do they want one item for the $10, or they want a lot of little items? You know, that type of thing.
right,
I had one client who said, we have a budget of $10, but we need to have something to thank. This was actually a hospital, and they wanted to go ahead and thank not just the nurses, but the techs, everybody. But they only had a $10 budget. They wanted a beautiful design. They wanted it in color. They wanted, you know, all different types of things. Could we still do it at $10?
right.
We came in at $10.
Wow.
So there
Okay.
are things. And again, that was a t-shirt that had a special message on it. And we were able to go ahead and get the whole thing done for them on time, and for their $10. Now, if a client says to me, we need a variety of different items, we're not quite sure, can you give us an idea of what these things are going to cost, and let's see where we can go? And that just happened. They wanted all different types of things. I went ahead and I gave them some quotes on some different things. And then they were finally able to fine tune it so that the entire gift came down to $70 per person. It's
Okay.
being shipped, and their entire expense, actually with the shipping and everything else, they will still, their top budget was 100. They're
Okay.
still going to be less than that. So again, they were able to pick out, there's probably about 10 different items that are going to
Oh,
go
wow.
into their box.
Okay.
And
So even today, as tight as budgets are, promotional items still should be part of the planning process because
yes,
people are expecting them. People love them. It's just a matter of, first of all, talking to you and being very transparent about their budget
yes,
and very transparent about what they want, what they're looking for. And then,
exactly.
you give them some ideas also and some options, and
Right,
voila, there you go. How easy a part of this planning it is, and they can
exactly.
just hand it over to you to take care of the shipping and everything, and they look like a hero. So
That's it, exactly. One of the items that I love, and I'm going to hold this up, it's not, but it's a mouse pad,
let's see
and
it. Let's see it. Hold it up.
it's a mouse pad,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
and it's thin. And the
right.
nice thing about this one, the
We're
one
still
side,
using mouse pads.
right, is actually, it can be used to clean the screen. It's got that kind of
Oh,
a
okay.
finish to it, you know. And I had I had a client who said, I don't have a big budget, but I want something that's going to be right there when they're on the conference.
Okay.
They couldn't afford to do a lot of the pad folios that we were looking at. So I looked at a smaller one. But then I said, what about the mouse pad? And they were like, we've never done a mouse pad. Well, this is something that's going to be right there. And you can have all kinds of information on it. You can have the schedule of events if you want it. You can do whatever. So they went with a mouse pad.
I'll be darned. That's great. Okay. Well, we have a little bit of time here to ask you one more question. And I wanted to ask you, how can an industry or a company or organization best utilize an expertise like you or the services like you with AIT promotions? What's the best way they can utilize your services and expertise?
The best way is actually just to give me a call.
Well, we could do that. We can put your information up there. They just need to reach out and have that conversation with you. In other words,
exactly. I have clients and potential clients all the time who will go ahead and, I just need to talk about this.
Okay.
Talking is free. Okay.
Right.
And you need to you have a sounding board. I can be that sounding board.
Okay.
And I've had people who have gone ahead and reached out, and then we have not worked together on that particular project. They've gone a different route. That's fine. A year later, they came back and they were like, you know what? We really do need you. That kind of thing.
Sure.
So how can they best utilize us, or how can they best utilize the type of services? It's thinking in terms of, what do you want to do to be memorable to your audience? What do you want to do to be memorable? And then reach out to us and we'll help you in that way.
Yeah, and have that conversation with you. Well, there's your contact information, your email address, and your website. Is there any other way? Should they contact you social media wise as well?
They can always go ahead and reach out on social media. Okay. I must admit, I'm not always that may be a little bit slower sometimes. But if somebody wants to reach out by the website, if they want to give us a call, I am still old school and I still love getting that phone call.
Oh, me too. I hear you. But after the show, don't leave, because I have an idea that I would love to pick your brain on as well. Okay. So we want to make sure that we utilize your time as much as possible. And I appreciate you being here on the show. We do have a couple of people that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We have, is this Janice Lawrence? Is it Janice? Yeah. Thank you so much. I would imagine a friend of yours. And then we've got Visibly Media saying they love that swag. They love the dog swag. So that seems like a very popular thing to make sure that people see as well, to utilize. There's all kinds of it's like you can't pinpoint one thing that is going to work above another. It just gets down to, their goals and objectives. That's the bottom line.
That's it exactly. That's it exactly.
Okay.
The very first time that we ended up using the swag shirts, and we've used them at two different situations where we were live, we had a booth and so forth, and Stan literally walked around with the dogs. But I had people coming over and going, "You're a dog lover. I want to work with you." Oh. It had nothing to do any of my other qualifications. It was just the fact that I was a dog lover. And I found that very, very interesting, because again, that's when I started realizing it doesn't have to be my industry that attracts somebody. Sure. And just like for so many other people, just like the person who loves to cook, let's get spices or that, great chef knives into somebody's hands, and that makes you memorable.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's end this show right here with our good friend Ray Grace, who says, "You rock, Heather." Definitely.
Thank you.
See, again, you got all kinds of fans here. We haven't even gotten to half of them. So, but I want to thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
on the show. You
Thank
are
you.
terrific, and I'm one of your big fans as well. So, we'd love to stay in touch, and I wish you all the best throughout the year. And if anybody, again, wants any type of promotional items, no matter where you are in the world, you definitely want to contact Heather at AIT Promotions. So thank you again, Heather, for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been fun.
Oh, good. Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. You have Heather Rykowski, who just shared all that you need to know, from your budgets to being memorable, to being personable, building those relationships. She just gave you all kinds of golden nuggets right there. And I hope that you'll stay in touch with her, or even utilizes her service to promote our hospitality industry. And if you did enjoy this show and you want to see it again or share it with others, by all means, just go to our social media links, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, and you will be able to see the replays right there. And so share this conversation with others. And I want to also thank our sponsor, pickles.com, for allowing us to be sponsored for this episode as well. And if you have any questions, comments, or maybe you or somebody you know wants to be on the show, by all means, please definitely contact us at hello@hospitalitytodaylive.com, because we definitely want to hear from you and what you think about the show as well. So let's talk about our next show next week. Next up, we are going to shift gears to the hotel industry by talking to the area GM for Sonata Hotels International, Pete Ells. And get this, Pete Ells is a previous boss of mine. Oh my goodness, are we going to have some great conversations or what? And Pete's also going to share with us a little bit more of a background of what hotels has been going through, the impact this last year has had, especially on hotel teams. Also advice he has for some young, newly inspiring managers that want to get into the hotel business. He also wants to talk about how the best way to build a hotel career as well, along with success and managing people in the hotel industry. Something you will not want to miss. Great relevant information coming your way, and it all happens right here on Hospitality Today Live. I'm Deborah Gardner on behalf of our growing staff here at HTL. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, if you're thinking about it, we're talking about it right here on HTL. Have a great week, everybody.